Are you a struggling hunter main in PvE 2025? Struggling to coexist with Warlock and Titans? Well, this video is for you. Some of you hunter mains are wandering the streets till after midnight sometimes. Your mothers are worried sick looking for yous. Yeah, some of yous are sofa surfing, sleeping on your mate's sofa, wearing odd socks. If somebody's wearing odd socks, I don't trust that person. There's something quite devilish about them. There's something not quite right. Their mind's not on life, it's on something else. Not sure. But let's dial in, lock in, let's get those hunters, let's give them a helping hand. Because I feel as though they might need it a little bit. Let's have a little bit of a retrospect. Let's see the downfall of hunter mains in PvE Destiny 2. 2024 June, Final Shape launches. The Witness raid comes out. Hunters are held as kings, which Celestial Nighthawks still hunt meta rotations. They finish the final 10-year saga on a high, but that's when the downsides or the downfall of the hunter becomes evident. Transcendent Prismatic comes out with Final Shape. It is not mastered by players until shortly after that. Once Transcendence is mastered, it is established that Consecration Titan is the best class in the game, shortly followed by Prismatic Warlock with Getaway Artists and Stasis Turret at the time. Prismatic Hunter doesn't seem to be a lot going for it, apart from Invis. Then we get Dual Destiny, we get the exotic class items. It's a small win for hunters because they get the Woven Mail class item, at least something they can use. But so does Warlock and Titans, they get their respective God Roll class items as well, which just bridges the gap even more in PvE. We then get Vesper's Host. This is where the real downfall of the hunter becomes. Tether is bugged. Tether is bugged for the first boss on Rhynix. Ends up being bugged for months. Bungie eventually fixes it by reducing server size from 9 to 6. This then makes Rhynix harder for everybody else. The irony is, no hunters were tethering him anyways, and when they fixed it, I didn't see anybody try and do it. The week it was done. It's so much irony. So Bungie fixes Rhynix for the sake of hunters that complained that didn't even try and attempt solo flaws anyways. Yeah? You remember the time when it happened for those who have been around my channel long enough. The complaints arise with Vesper's Host because there's not many hunter mains that can solo flawlessly, only ATP. There's only ATP. He's the only hunter main that can be a hunter main. The rest of us are Warlock and Titan mains. Even when we play on a hunter, we are still playing as a Warlock and a Titan. We think, that's all we think about. Yeah? It snowballs from there. Sundry Doctrine launches in 2025. Same problems arise. There's no hunter mains solo flawless in it. Only ATP. Right? Same thing. Ball Charge Titans. Prismatic Warlocks. Even Weller Radiance Prismatic. Well swapping and stuff like that. The problems still arise on Reddit. There's posts everywhere. Hunters feel weak in PvE. Hunters are this, hunters are that. Now, if you're one of those players that have experienced that respect that I've just mentioned to you, 90% of it's probably false in terms of misconceptions. Hunters are actually fairly strong in PvE and have a lot going for them. The problem is they have a higher skill ceiling. Yeah, somebody that's good on a hunter is probably just overall really good at Destiny 2, period. Forget about it. They're probably just good. If they're good on a hunter, they're probably good on a Titan and a Warlock as well. Whereas a good Titan probably isn't that good on a hunter, but can be good on a Warlock. Do you see what I'm saying? Higher skill ceiling for hunter takes more work. But let's give him a helping hand. And that's what this build's about. And now I've showcased loads of builds this season. Let's revisit that. 4 Tracer builds. We've had clone builds with Balance of Power, Ascension builds, Gifted Conviction. We've had Raid and Flux Arc Staff builds that melt and destroy in this game. Frosty's builds, loads of different builds. This is another build today that completely changes the way you play in Destiny 2 for hunters, and I'm excited to show it. The build is a verticality build and revolves around being in the air, not grounded gameplay too much. That's revolving around Manticore. It's got Saw and Fang, which gives you anti-grav boosters. The catalyst adds Void Overshield, reduces combatant accuracy and returns ammo to the mag. Swoop and Talons gives it a damage bonus. We are in a Void meta weapon season. Manticore is a slept on weapon. It's very good. I pair that with Stompees. Yep. Stompees gives a damage resistance in PvE which is 30%. It's sizable. Now when you are airborne, you are going to get that with Manticore. You are also going to get that with Ascension because you're airborne. So this is an Ascension build regarding Stompees plus Manticore, and it's a very, very unique gameplay loop. Once you master it, you're going to have so much fun with it, seriously. So weapons, I'm using Lost Signal because it's very good in terms of darkness energy for Transcendence, and it's good when we're airborne. It's a very good airborne weapon. Watchfly is on because of Power Resolve. That is the only reason why I'm using it, because of Unstoppable Champions. Alright, so the build itself, Silk Strike because its Strand Surge is weak. Gambler's Dodge because I want to get my melee back when I use Ascension. Grapple Grenade adds verticality to the build. Yeah, it's really good for movement. Clone Ascension, Clone Ascension. There is no requirement for Invis. There is no requirement for Gunpowder Gamble. There is no requirement for Winter's Shroud. This build has so many different sources of damage resist, it's highly unlikely that you would die. Fragments are Facet of Ruin to buff Hellfire Spike. Facet of Protection for damage resist. Facet of Hope for more elemental buff. When we're amplified we get our Ascension back. Facet of Dawn for Radiant for damage buff and barrier rounds. Facet of Balance is very nice. Facet of Purpose for more damage resist with Woven Mail because the Silk Strike went on orb pickup. Here are the armor mods, but I want to talk more about the resistances because there'll be a dim link. Oh, and lastly, Maligned Harvest because you get an overshield on Snare Bomb. Volatile Marksman's very good with Manticore. Yeah, and there's a couple of other mods that I used, but I want to focus on exactly what I'm on about with resistances. So with resistance, there's loads of things going on at once, and we can get a D2 physicist down below to work it out. Feel free to. I'm going to give you the numbers, and I'm going to tell you what it roughly equates to, but a D2 physicist can give us an exact number if he wants. Nominate yourself to do it. Comment down below. Tell me what it is, what you think it is. I'm not doing the maths, right, too much. I've got a solo GM to do. You want me to do everything. I'll do so much for you though. Overshield, that promotes. The overshield from Manticore or Snare Bomb or whatever it is, gives a 70% damage resist. That's number one. Number two, Stompees, that gives us a 30% damage resist when we're airborne. Woven Mail is a 45% damage resist when we have it. Then we've got 15% from Amplified, from Ascension, damage resist, and makes adds less accurate against you. Facet Protection is a 15% damage resist as well. It creeps up a little bit when you're Transcendent. So all of that combined is about approximately 95% damage resist. Like I say, we can get a D2 physicist to work it out. I'm not committing to it. I'm just saying those are the numbers. Yeah, that's what it was. Anyways, that was the build. On with the run. Okay, so we've had the technicalities, we've had the pep talks, we've had the build information. I've give you numbers and time and build and give you all that. Let's, at the end of the day, what it boils down to is playback loop. And you're going to see in this video, like I say, I highly recommend Hunter Mains watch this because it is a different way of playing, to be honest. It really is. But again, it has to be with Manticore though, for sure, in this exact fashion. Right, I'm not going to skip the champs. We can skip champs, but what's the point? We're testing a build. So what I'm going to do is farm these ads. Look, they've got a Hypernova, which is good, because I can farm anti-grav up. You want to farm anti-grav up when you want it with Manticore, which can be stored. The playback loop is Lost Signal, Snare Bomb, Ascension in the air. Then you go up in the air, Manticore damage. Yeah, look at that. We've got that champ finishable. We'll finish him off with the LMG, and then now we need to get anti-grav back for the next champ. This is the playback loop. But like I say, there's a lot of intricacies with it, and you can tie in a grapple melee with it for more movement against a champ and all this sort of stuff. You can do a lot. Look at my clone. It's adding so much protection, and I've got all that damage resist as well. We're stacking so much stuff on top of each other with this build. It's quite crazy. The only thing that would do more damage resist, probably, off the top of my head, would be Gifted Conviction, because it's a higher damage resist, right, than what Stompees is. But this is good because you've got Stompees on and it's proccing while you're doing your Manticore gameplay. So Stompees is actually quite nice with this build. It's not just me saying, hey, this is just a fun little thing. No, this is actually quite a playstyle. And Bear Man inside Terminus is obviously one of the easier GMs, but you could use this build for any GM possible, even Sunless Cell. Yeah. Any Battleground GMs, yep. Yep, it's totally sellable for all of them. Noted it will lose points on the long range GMs, but SMG weapons do anyways at base. If you use an SMG in a GM, it loses points automatically in a long range GM because it's a CQC weapon. That's not that weapon's fault. Now we use a super to skip. Look at this. Lost Signal, Radiant with Snare Bomb. Yeah, then you whip out Manticore and do all the damage with all the resistance. Look. We just melt. My other shield's not even getting pierced. It will sometimes. Depends how many ads there are up. So you can really, really play aggro on this build. So for some of the most aggro hunter mains in this game, try this out. Because you can really push the ads as much as you want. It's as much as your imagination will hold, to be honest. Yeah, I've only just tested it in this GM. Imagining some of the other GMs on the skill ceiling on this build, and you can really change. Not to mention, Transcendence gameplay is really good. With Manticore being in the air like that, it's really good. It really is. So I pop Transcendence here, right? Because my Hellfire Spike will stun the unstops. We get a stun. We whip out Manticore. Look at anti-grav damage. We melt that one champ. We've not got unstop, that's fine. The LMG's on for power resolve. Look, we get the stun. Boom. And I can farm this fella. Eric the unstop. I can farm him for a Transcendence. That's what I'm actually doing. I can finish him, yeah. But I'm going to farm a little bit of Transcendence off him, just a little bit. It's kind of stalling a little bit. I like to do that. It's sprinkled in my gameplay because it's strategy. It's not about stepping at the foot of the gas because we're lazy or anything like that. No, it's strategy, man. I want you to try and incorporate more strategy around champs in your gameplay to farm them for super and Transcendence. This is not a cheese. This is part of in-game mechanics. And understanding the in-game mechanics at a higher level will help you better to understand on how you can transcend your supers and Transcendences to the next encounter on encounter by basis, each basis. Now I'm going to set the boss off. Shoot the boss from a distance, watch him eat dinner from a distance, like that. Then we'll do a grapple, Ascension Tech Solutions Company Incorporated to spawn in the unstoppable champion, because that's what I want to do. I want to stun him with the LMG because I haven't got my Transcendence, but we'll stun him with that, and then I'm going to pop a super. My goal is really just to get rid of the unstop, a couple of the ads. That is it. Yeah. That's all we're looking to do. We can make unlimited clones. Well, not unlimited, but look, it's on no cooldown. Look, I made 2 clones at the back end of my Silk Strike. The champ is entirely on the clone. Look at this. We get a smoke bomb with Radiant. That adds weakening as well. Oh, we lost our barrier just in time there. So that's unfortunate. Sometimes that will happen, but that's fine. Look, I've got another smoke bomb to use. This time we do get the stun. We'll finish this, we'll clean this champ up. It's because I ran out of anti-grav, really. I was starting to run out of it. But I've got full anti-grav back there. A couple of snipers at the back. I'll just use a bit of lost signal on them and run away. And that's our first section done. We're going quite quick in this run. It's not Consecration Titan quick, but it's quick-ish for the run. Same thing, look at this. We are pushing this champ aggressive while there's gladiators up, but they can't hit me because I'm in the middle of the air. Yeah? Just look at how good that is. To desync the weapon, you just hold. You can do a couple of things. You can jump, sometimes that deactivates it, or hold, reload, or swap weapons. I think swapping weapons is better. I actually didn't realise it deactivates if you swap weapons. So next time I use this build, I'll be... The better thing for me will be just to swap weapons when I'm in mid-air. Don't get me wrong, the gun isn't clunky. I know you're going to immediately think the gun's clunky. It's not. There's just a bit of build crafting needed, a bit of skill needed with the weapon. You've got to learn the weapon. Once you do, it's not that clunky, honestly. It's much better than what it used to be. So we get a stun on this barrier. We've got a Transcendence. We're going to get our Radiant back. Look at what we're doing here. We're just tanking all this damage. And building anti-grav up on the ground. When using Ascension, I get an overshield and I get amplified. I nearly die, but then I jump up in the air, get the overshield, boom. I'm tanky. Look at what I'm tanking the entire room. I'm tanking the entire room here. And we're just killing everything. Yeah. And with Stompees as well, it's got good movement. Which adds to that for your PvE movement. Which a lot of hunter mains lack. Some of the newer hunters I've noticed, they're lacking a little bit of movement in PvE. They seem to jump about like in PvP. Yeah, get one thing right. You need to get your movement zoned in for PvE, not for PvP. These ads have attack patterns. Arm and GT has showed us that in the past. I've showed you it in the past. I've mentioned it many, many times. Your attack pattern needs to be catered to the enemies that you're up against. That does not include just jumping around like a madman. You're just a sitting target. Jump around in a controlled manner so that you're avoiding enemy damage. Yeah? So Cabal have an AI pattern. Hive enemies have an AI pattern. Fallen enemies have an AI pattern. And this goes on and on and on and on and on. And the more hours you have in the game, the better that you are on that stuff. So we use a Transcendence to get our melee back. The champ jumps out, but that's fine. I've got Radiant Look. I should stun in time. Yep, I do. That's fine. And then we finish off with a bit of lost signal and then LMG. So the playback loop's super fun. And it only gets better from here because obviously we've got the boss fight to fight. There's more ads. And we can actually like zone in on the boss. I'm going to power Transcendence because I get Transcendences back. This build's very good on Transcendence. It's easy because Ascension's given us Arc. I've got an Arc LMG on. Lost signal for darkness. Yeah, I've got Manticore on for light. I'm getting more than enough Transcendence energy in this build. It's fine. It's more than fine. It's fantastic. So look, I'm pushing up aggressive and I can do that. When you're up against enemies that are melee based, they are rendered useless against you because you're in the air with you're rocking a 2000 IQ battle IQ build here. Yeah? And this would only get better against maybe like Dread enemies, Hive enemies, where Thrall are after you a lot. Just popping your anti-grav Manticore is just going to demolish all of that. It's a shame because we don't have Blackout GMs like we used to. If you don't know, there was a modifier in the game called Blackout. Melees would one-shot you or two-shot you in high-end game Nightfalls. It was a thing a long time ago, and then they removed it. And I don't even know if it's still in the game or not. But imagine if it was, Manticore would be the king of that, because you can't be meleeed. They might bring Blackout back in the modifiers on the customized GMs and in-game content that we're getting. I don't know. I would hope that they do. Yeah, I don't know. It's just off the top of... This is improvised commentary. All of my commentary, by the way, is improvised. I don't write anything down. The only thing I ever write down is numbers. For like damage resist, damage buffs. If there's a lot of them, I'll write them down. But other than that, I write nothing down. There's no script. There never has been script, by the way, for 7-8 years. I've done 8 years worth of improvised content. You weigh that up. Calculate that in your mind for a second. I know enough about the game to just talk about it. which I think people should just be able to just talk about Destiny 2. Who the hell's following a script? This isn't school. I hate school. This isn't PowerPoint presentations. This is fluid gameplay with commentary over the top, which is my unique selling point, which is not offered by pretty much anyone in the same fashion. It just isn't offered. Right. So I've got a Transcendence to use and a Super, but I'm going to whip round to the right hand side because you get better damage over here. It's just better over here. For phase 1 it is. So I'm going to use an Ascension for a clone. Jolt. I'm adding Jolt to Silk Strike. Silk Strike's already fantastic. It's cracked. Adding Jolt to it's even better now. I haven't got Limit Break on because I want to avoid Flux on for Manticore, but you could put Limit Break on as well to enhance Silk Strike even further. But this video is not about Silk Strike, it's about Manticore. Transcendence is popped. Let's see the damage. Look at the stomp. He's stomping me and I'm not going anywhere. I'm negating stomp damage because I'm in the air. So this gameplay loop is really good with Transcendence gameplay. Look at the super energy regen. Look at the super bar and the damage I'm doing. The damage is enhanced when you've got anti-grav as well with the swooping talons. Yeah, Transcendence ends. Boss is half HP. But to note, where's the ads? There's barely any ads. Now there's a fresh wave just come out then. And look, I've got my super. So yeah, the jumping with the Stompees and everything and being airborne. I'm getting damage resist constantly when I'm jumping. Even if I haven't got anti-grav. If I'm jumping, if a nade hits me and I jump, I'm getting damage resist for free. Yeah, it's crazy in terms of that. So for hunters that like to jump a lot, this is really good. I know that there's Gifted Conviction, but there is. But like I say, I've already showed Gifted Conviction. I'm not going to show you it again. There's no gain there for anybody. 'Cause the gameplay is out there for you to look at it. Not just from me, from other people as well. This is a new way to play. That's what this is based around. Okay, so the boss has been taken down. Ads are pushing. I'm just going to use a bit of LMG because these ads are from range. And I'm about to cap this plate anyways. I need to farm up a bit of anti-grav. I'm half. Bear in mind, anti-grav isn't hard to farm up. It's pretty damn good. I use a Transcendence here. Now the one disadvantage to this is I can't cap the plate when I'm in air like that. So I'm going to have to go to grounded gameplay a little bit when I'm capping these plates. But you've got to do that. To cap the plate, your boots on the ground have to be. That's alright though. We're just capping plates. So I use the back end of my Transcendence. I've got a super to use if I might die, which I won't. But if it also caps the plate quicker, so I'm going to actually pop it in a minute. Last second I'll pop it. There we go, look. Pop it, this caps the plate. Have you seen any time in this run when I've had a problem? There's only been one occasion, and I had an overshield and an Ascension to back me up. So, I mean, maybe a couple of occasions against the boss, but this is how you're meant to play it. You're meant to be up close against a boss. You are going to get weak. That's the nature of D2 combat in GMs. When people say, oh, I watched your GM, you got weak several times. Yeah, that's combat. Come back to me when you've learned combat then and we can talk then. Because I don't know what you're talking to me. You're just saying words at me. You got weak. So has anybody who has ever played D2 ever in the last 7 years has got weak at some point. If your shields break, that's part of the game. Expect it. Because then you need to become very good when your shields break. What do you do in those moments? You need to strategize. That's where the strategy comes in. Doesn't it? Now I'm going to use a super here. I'm going to try and jolt the boss unamplified. Yeah? Well, it's more for the jolt. I'm adding jolt to Silk Strike, look. I've got a Transcendence to pop right after super. I made 2 clones at the back end. So I'm very strong at the exit point of a super, which is, look at that. They're all focused on that damn clone. I want anti-grav. That's what I'm farming for. And once I get anti-grav, I'm going to pop a Transcendence. There we go, pop Transcendence. Overshield goes in for Radiant as well. Then I go right into anti-grav. Look at the damage. Yeah, and I just keep spamming my abilities while I'm in mid-air. Like this, look. It negates all stomp. The skill setting with this build is tremendous. It's the Empire State building. You make it as good as you want. You can be as good as you want with this. that was a build with this Angel of Death build. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.